Hey everybody, gather around. Let's talk weather. Carson Meredith with you from the Wave Now Studios. It is 7:15 on this Saturday night, August 2nd. And it does not feel like August, but I don't think many of us are complaining about that. It has been a spectacular Saturday, but it is August. You guys know that eventually means the heat will come back, the humidity will come back, and so too will the rain chances. This is why we're calling it false fall. At least yesterday and today, but as we get towards Sunday, the humidity comes back up just a little bit, and that does mean the return of rain chances for some of you. So we will discuss those rain chances not only for tomorrow, but also into next week, and we'll also look ahead to when the 90s return. But they are a ways off, so if you're liking this cooler feel, you're going to have more humidity to deal with soon. But we will keep those temperatures on the cooler side over the next few days. Let's get you outside tonight to downtown Louisville from Jeffersonville. What a glorious view, huh? I mean, this is a classic day that you would see in mid-September. Just a stunner of a day. We only got up to 81 in Louisville this afternoon. That is it. Which is 8 degrees below average for this time of year. We're usually around 89. It is now 79 here in Louisville. Dew points in the 50s. That is perfect, especially this time of year. And a nice breeze, too, out of the northeast. Cannot ask for much better. It's not very often we get these kind of days in August. We had a couple last year. I think during the state fair, in fact. We had those days, 2 days, I think, with highs in the 70s. I don't know if we'll be that lucky for the fair this year, but it's nice to get the breaks in August when you can. And look at these temperatures across the board. A lot of you stay in the 70s all day. We're down to 75 in Columbia, 77 in Lebanon and Mumfordville, E-Town, and Litchfield, 73 up in LaGrange, 77 in Madison. The only 80 we have on the map is out in Owensboro. So just a gorgeous day, a beautiful evening. If you have any plans, just fine. Get outside and enjoy. It's going to be a nice night ahead. Now, here's the sticky meter map. You guys know how this map works. Orange and reds are bad. Blues and greens are great. And yellows in between. Earlier this morning, when we were showing this map on our sunrise newscast, it was basically all blue. But over the last few hours, some of these greens have started to show back up, especially in Kentucky. That is slightly more humid air starting to move back in. Now, it does get a little more humid at night because the dew point depression, or the difference between the temperature and the dew point, gets smaller. However, there is a disturbance to our southeast tonight that is going to be the source, if you will, not only for the humidity coming back, but also a few downpours, especially Sunday afternoon. You notice even further off to the east, out across the mountains of eastern Kentucky, out towards London, Corbin, out towards Hazard and Jackson, Moorhead, Kentucky. It's more of that humid feel, and that is eventually going to make its way back into our area, kind of moving from an odd direction, moving from southeast to northwest is this air mass, if you will. Usually it's the other way around. So that humidity will slowly build. It's not going to be unbearable, okay? There's no oranges and reds really in our sticky meter forecast anytime soon, but that humidity is going to climb just enough to where we notice it starting tomorrow, and that's also going to bring back that chance for a few showers and storms. Here's the big picture. It's pretty quiet across most of our half of the country, the lone exception being in the mountains of eastern Kentucky and eastern Tennessee. There are, I believe, a couple of flash flood warnings in effect down here because they've been dealing with this rain all day. But this is the disturbance that's basically right over the Appalachian Mountains right now that is going to move our direction, kind of slide backwards, if you will, over the next day or so. And as it does, We'll see that bump up in the humidity like we talked about, but we'll also see the return of a few downpours as early as tomorrow. Not going to be quite as many downpours as what we had, recently, but that chance is at least going to be there as that disturbance slides its way back into our neck of the woods. But tonight's just fine. Get outside, enjoy this evening. It's beautiful out there. All the street rods have wrapped up for the day. They're going to be all over town, I'm sure. Lou City's playing tonight. It's going to be great. 65 our forecast low. Very comfortable tonight. Maybe a degree or two warmer, but you really can't ask for much better this time of year. That's the situation for tonight. Here's the sticky meter as we go through the next few days. Notice how we've been in that pleasant territory all day today. No surprise there, right? The humidity's been incredibly low. And then you just kind of see we steadily climb into that green and yellow territory on the sticky meter starting tomorrow and going through the early part of the week. And that's obviously the reason why the rain chances will be on the climb. It's not miserable. We're not in the red zone. We're not going to be in the orange zone. But we'll at least see that humidity pick back up just a little bit. So your storm chances for tomorrow are around 20%, especially during the afternoon. Now, we'll see on Futurecast here in a second that there may actually be a couple of light showers early tomorrow, near sunrise, in fact. That's something that a lot of the high-res models have been consistent on throughout the day today. So I'll carry a 10% chance for a rogue, small, light shower as you're heading to church or brunch in the morning, okay? But it's really in the afternoon when we're back into my tie clip is crooked. There we go. That bothered me. So we get into the afternoon, we warm things up into the low 80s, and that is when we'll have a better shot to see not only showers, but also perhaps a few heavy downpours as well. And I really think a lot of us stay dry tomorrow. But if you live down in southern Kentucky, so for my friends in Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown, points south towards Mumfordville, Campbellsville, Columbia, you guys have a slightly higher chance to see a few downpours Sunday afternoon. Maybe a 30% chance further south. But for everybody else, it's a 20% chance. In other words, tomorrow is not a washout. Don't cancel your plans, but keep the Wave Weather app handy because there will at least be a few downpours around. Here's Futurecast for Sunday. This is around 7 a.m. And like we talked about, the models have been fairly consistent today in at least some of that initial moisture moving in, giving us a couple of light showers. It might be more sprinkles than anything else, but that's something we'll watch tomorrow morning. It would be very, very light early in the day tomorrow. We get towards noon, mostly quiet, but off to the south across southern Kentucky, you see those heavy downpours are starting to retreat northward. Now the question is, how far north will those downpours go? And it really comes down to how far north the more humid air goes. Once these downpours move into a drier air mass, they're going to get eaten up and fade away. But if they can stay in that slightly more muggy air mass, then we keep that chance going for those downpours. And that's really why we think it's our southern counties right through here that have the best chance to see those downpours tomorrow. So this is noon, down near Columbia, Mumfordville, Greensburg, likely starting to see some darker skies around lunchtime Sunday. We go into the afternoon, some of those heavier cells, that is, still hanging on. This is 3 o'clock Sunday. We do not have to worry about severe weather tomorrow, by the way. Main issue would be heavy rain, perhaps some lightning, but mainly heavy rain. But again, as these storms try to go north, closer to Louisville, they're going to run into drier air. It's not as humid up here towards Louisville and into southern Indiana on Sunday. What does that mean? Well, that means these storms completely collapse later into the afternoon. I don't know if they'll fade away this quickly. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I still think there might be some downpours around, but definitely past 6, 7, 8 o'clock, most of those downpours across southern Kentucky will be gone. So it's not a big deal tomorrow. A lot of you are going to stay dry, and you're probably wondering why I'm rambling about downpours, but there is still that chance, at least, where some of you may get a quick burst of heavy rain, Sunday afternoon especially. We go into the early part of the week, that humid air, not miserable, but noticeable, and that humidity will be noticeable enough to keep the scattered storms around. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got 30% chances across the board for everybody for those scattered storms each and every day for the early part of the week. Then as we get towards the end of the week, we start to see that ridge of high pressure to our west moving into our area. That allows the storm chances to drop. But as you'll see on the 10-day earliest alert, once the storm chances drop, the temperatures climb. So we're in the 80s for the next 5 days, in all likelihood. And then we get back to 90 by Friday, and we'll hover on either side of 90 degrees into next weekend and the following week. So, yes, the humidity's coming back. Yes, the rain chances are coming back. But the intense heat is not anywhere to be found. Instead, we'll have more typical August heat by the end of next week and into next weekend. 84, by the way, our high tomorrow. I might drop that down, looking based on what I see with the data coming in tonight, mainly because we were cooler than expected today. So if that trend holds, we might be looking at more 82 degrees for a high tomorrow instead of 84. So we'll watch that. Steadily climbing into the mid-80s early next week, and then we get back to near 90 by Friday. So that's where we are, gang. Let's see the comments. See what everybody's got to say on this fall-like Saturday night, says Scott. Yeah, it definitely does. The high today of 81, that's usually what we see in mid to late September, so this is definitely a treat. DJ King's up in North Vernon. Hey, hey, hope all's good. Landon, finally a break from the heat. Yes. Anita, 52 days till fall. Sure feels like it now. Does it ever? Yeah, it feels great. ZK's here. Reagan said it was a absolutely wonderful day. Couldn't agree more. Lori says, hello, beautiful day in Meade County. Yeah, sure was. Blue says hi. Ann says, great couple days for yard work. Absolutely. I saw a lot of folks out today. Austin, speechless from today's gorgeous weather, right? It's very rare to have a cold front this strong bring in such a pleasant air mass into our area this time of year. So it was a treat. Austin also asking about lightning, a concern. I think any day this week, tomorrow through Wednesday, there could be some lightning for sure. I think the main issue is heavy rain, but there's still that risk for at least some bolts of lightning here or there each day. Good question. So, yeah, kind of a lighter crowd tonight on our streaming platforms. No surprise. Everybody's out enjoying the beautiful weather. No worries about that. But that's where we stand at this point, guys. I'm going to keep it short and sweet tonight. It's a pretty straightforward forecast, to be honest with you, over the next 10 days, which is a nice thing to say. But we'll watch for a few downpours tomorrow, especially down in southern Kentucky. And then as we get towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there will be a few more of those scattered storms to dodge. But all in all, we're still going to have a decent break from the heat. It's just that humidity is going to start creeping up day by day by day, starting tomorrow. And with it comes those rain chances too. So that's where we are tonight, guys. Again, I know I've only been on for 15 minutes, but I don't want to keep you longer than I have to. So we appreciate you stopping by. Go out and enjoy your Saturday evening. It's absolutely stunning, refreshing, that is for sure. And most of Sunday looks pretty good too. Just make sure you're watching the Wave Weather app and the skies, of course, for any downpours that might be firing up near you, especially if you live down in central Kentucky and down towards southern Kentucky as well. Karen mentions before we go, nice weather for the Street Rod Nationals. Yes, gorgeous weather for the Street Rods this weekend. One of the best weather weekends I think they've ever had, or at least it feels that way. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you on TV again tonight on Wave News at 11. And I'll be back here on Sunrise tomorrow morning, and we'll have another update here on the social media side of things around 7:15 tomorrow night. Take care. Enjoy the beautiful evening ahead. Talk soon.